Hello everyone and welcome to CS50G Introduction to Game Development. This is the second assignment that we've been doing, which is lovelyly named Flappy Bird. So we're just going to jump straight in because I was told I was a little bit long for last time, so we're going to go straight into the code and just explain, and we're going to go through and show you exactly what's required of us. So first thing is the gap height between the pairs of pipes. What I've done is I've added in two local variables here. So a min and max, it was a hard-coded flat 90. I've made it a little bit easier for the demonstration. We can actually go down to how that gap height is calculated. So it just picks a random figure, a whole integer between the min and max, and then what happens is that that is then added in here to actually randomize the height. The next bit was the distance between the pipes actually spawning, so the time gap, and this is on play state. Between the first part we need to look at is here. So created a random time. It was hard-coded further down as 2 seconds. So you can see here with the spawn speed, we've set a default of 2 seconds. And what's going to happen is that these two, it's going to calculate a random figure between those. And we can see that down on line 56. This is where it's implemented here instead of the flat 2. So if the timer is greater than the spawn speed, and this is where it's calculated. It's down here on line 73. So we have the minimum amount, and what we do is we then add on we take the difference between the min and the max, and then we multiply that by a random figure between 0 and 1, which then added on to the minimum provides us with a figure between the min and the max, so between 1.5 and 3 seconds. The next part was to award the users with some sort of token for achieving a good score, and we can go into main here, and here we've got our 3 awards: gold, silver and bronze, and we've got some lovely images that go along with that, and these are called under the score state. So once the game is over, we actually we provide the awards. So what we've got here is that the parameters provided is the score, and then using this score, it goes to award check, and that returns 2 variables, which is an award, a boolean, to say whether or not award has been provided, and what that award is. So if we go to award check, we can see the logic here. The score is passed. If it's greater than 10, then award has been provided, and if it's lower, then it's false and there's no award. But if it's greater than 50, then it's gold. If it's greater or equal to 25, then it's silver, and if it's greater than 10, then it's bronze. And this is then passed to the render part. So if the award is true, then it tells you what sort of award you've got, and it provides you with the wonderful graphics. And then the final objective was to pause the game, stop the music, preserve the current game state, and make a sound when that occurred. So we need to go to the play state. So we're keeping everything within here because this is where the current game state is held, so we're not going to move out of this. So we go to line 28, and we can see that I've added in a paused attribute, is paused, which is defaulted to false because we start the game, we do want to pause it. We go to line 40, we check to see whether or not the pause key, which is P in this case, has been pressed to either pause or unpause the game. So if it's already paused, then set the pause to false. If it's not already paused, then set the pause to true. And we either go to the pause function or the unpause function. And what these do is the pause function, it sets the background and the ground scroll speed to 0. It pauses the game music, it plays a pause sound, and it plays some pause music, which is my own little addition. And then the unpause, it stops the pause music, it plays the pause sound, it resumes the music, and it resets the background scroll. But at the same time, we also need to be aware that we're actually paused. So the user needs to know that that's occurred, and also we don't want to be rendering other stuff. So what happens is that if the game is paused, then it continues with all the timer, it produces all of the pipes and so forth. It detects and tells what the bird's going to do next. And then in the render part, if the paused is false, then it renders the bird. But if it's not paused, if it is paused, then what it does is it tells you that it's paused. And what we can do now is we can actually have a look through and see this in action. So give me just 1 second, we'll load up the game. And let's have a look. There we go. So let's go and see if I can. Firstly, see if I can actually win a game, and so we can see everything in action. So what I'll try and do first is let's see the gap. Now you can see the gaps are quite big, and the gap between the pipes is not hugely different, but this is for the demonstration, so we want to see if we actually get an award. But you can definitely see there's a difference between the pipes themselves and between them pausing. So what we're going to do is get to 10, and then what I'm going to do is pause the game so you can see that in action, and then when I die immediately afterwards you'll see the... So here we go, I'm going to pause it now. So different music, you heard the sound of a little ping, and now we're going to unpause, and we're back to exactly where we were, and now I'm going to die, and there we go. You're awarded a bronze chick, and a lovely little representation of a bronze chick there is there. Thank you very much for listening, and see you soon. Thank you.